We can go down that road if you want to.
I was born with a penis.
Well, that's not necessarily a sad thing.
I don't know if it's proof that there is no God or that he has a wicked sense of humor or that he loves to party.
Yeah.
Maybe. Can't be all three.
Maybe it's just, God occasionally takes a shot in the mouth. I don't know. Praise him.
I'm unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. Hey, I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
What's up, guys? New episode of Unloading Meat. I'm your host, Jared Ralphie Allen. Thank you so much for watching. And today on the show, we have the one and only Viv Harper. If you don't know her, Viv is an up-and-coming comedian in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area that is killing it in the scene, guys. And I can't wait for you guys to just get to know her and see a little bit into how her mind works. This is a fascinating conversation that you don't want to miss. And if you like the things that I'm doing here on this channel, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. Guys, this is episode 99 of Unloading Meat. 99. That means next week, we're hitting episode 100, y'all. And for that, I have a surprise guest you don't want to miss. So like I said, be sure to subscribe. Check it out next week. It's going to be fucking awesome. Now, before we get to the awesome interview with Viv Harper, I got a little bit of breaking news. And I just can't wait to share it with you guys. Sunday, July 20th, I will be at Tulsa's Bricktown Comedy Club doing an amazing show that you do not want to miss. Tickets are only $10. And also, guys, if you don't know, July 20th, that happens to be my birthday. Yeah. So come see me, Jared Ralphie Allen, Sunday, July 20th at Tulsa's Bricktown Comedy Club. Tickets are in the link below in the description. Please, guys, use my name also whenever you buy tickets. It helps me out a lot. Now, let's get on to the episode with Viv Harper.
How long have you been around?
Since technically I started 16 years ago. And then I took a break for a while, had kids, and then came back to it after my last divorce.
Yeah.
So like when I came back, I launched this January 2023. And my goal was basically like, when I go back into comedy, I want to make sure I have like a base and like something to fall back on and something I can grow with comedy to where nobody can take it away from me. And it kind of just paid off because like even though like people try to cancel me or anything like that, I still had the podcast. I'm still putting out the episodes. I'm still generating content.
Yeah, none of that shit's real.
Yeah.
Unless they're putting you in jail, it just isn't, Yeah. And anybody that's in danger of being canceled they're just going down in like a little bit of wealth for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Us people that aren't in a, don't have a Netflix special, I don't think it fucking matters.
And again, I'm not even trying to get like super like famous or anything like that. I'm not looking like get like a Burt Kreischer or like a fucking Chappelle or anything like that. I just want to pay the bills, like stuff like that, and like just do what I want to do with the podcast, stuff like that, and just be free. And I'm pretty much there. Like, I don't know. Like I kind of had to take it as a point of pride that like I'm 36, going on 37. I already own my own house, paid off my car. Yeah, I've been divorced a couple times and stuff, but like I own it all, and like now I'm just trying to live my dream. Like I keep my bills super low, and I just try to live it.
Oh, dude, you're killing it. Like this is an accomplishment that most of our generation doesn't.
And like it's people like there's people that are like, oh, you should give up on that, or you're not making it in 2 years. You should do this, do that. I'm like, what kind of like goalposts do I need to look at? They're just imaginary goalposts, and they're always gonna move.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter what accomplishment you have, they're always gonna move the goalpost. There's going to be somebody who's going to judge you. In reality, you just need to just compare yourself to yourself. Only compete against yourself is what I try to look at. Whatever I did yesterday, just try to do better.
Yeah. I have a really low bar for success. I'm trying to think of it more. I never really dreamed before in my life. I never had any higher expectations for than the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And comedy has been really strange. I've never been good at anything in my life, and it's always been a special interest, and I've always loved it, and it's gotten me through some really hard times. Like in my early 20s, I would just like put on like Pandora and shit, and like I feverishly tried to find every comedian I could and hear as many bits as I could, because it was the only supplement as an antidepressant, like because a punchline was a breath of air.
Yeah,
that's how fucking not well I felt. And so I had spent so many years just logging this shit like a fucking computer algorithm. And yeah, I'm still learning a lot of shit because as soon as I started at Cellar, and then I did 6 mics that week. And then 2 mics shut down, so I only got 4 in the next after that, and then like 5 after that, and then another 6. And that was just 4 straight weeks of stand-up every night. And it's been really fucking extreme.
Yeah.
Like the amount of adrenaline and like self-analysis, like why did this work? Why didn't this work? And then the politics of like, does this comedian like me? Does this one not? Is this transphobia? Is this hack? Like what's, is there any, like, I don't know. I felt like I've had really positive affirmations, and I've never felt like I've been good at anything, and I don't hardly feel like I can do anything. Like I'd be happy to hold down a fucking gig at Panera Bread or whatever, you know, but this feels right in a, I don't know. I've had people belittle my time in the game, and my biggest flops are their greatest hits.
Yeah.
So, people can throw shade where they want to.
I know. And it's always going to be people. I mean, there's going to be a shade of jealousy. But I will say, like, with no ego, anything, you've been a breath of fresh air in the scene. Like, your comedy is landing. Like, it's well written.
I really appreciate it.
I could tell the effort that's going into it. And, like, you can just hear it. Like, you can hear your delivery. You can hear that you're putting in effort. And it's more than just, like, you give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I can just tell by your voice and how you deliver stuff and, like, certain phrases, everything, that you care.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That's a very high and valuable compliment.
I go by that. I go by vibes and who's putting in the effort and who, like, honestly just has a voice that I want to listen to. You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear what they have to say. And that's who I want to have on the show.
Very much same. I feel like we're very blue. We're both comics that are dealing with stuff that might shock a conservative audience if they weren't expecting it, And I don't know. There are some things in comedy that are pretty difficult to do. I have bits and like punchlines and shit, but also being blue and being like, hey, y'all ever lick assholes tonight? In certain rooms, they're not going to want to hear that.
But you can already tell just by saying something like that, how much of it is the punchline landing versus how you deliver it.
Yeah, no.
Like, if you relate to them.
Oh, my God.
If you get it relatable, it doesn't matter what you say is that punchline, it'll land and it'll usually crush because if you get it relatable.
Yeah.
You can get somewhere to attach to somebody. If you can figure some way to get a connection in that crowd, that's how you're going to generate the fucking punchline laugh.
The variables are insane, too. But I don't know. I do it. Say if I have 6 mics I can do a week, or if I do 6 mics a week, I'll do 3 where I'm just trying my hardest to fucking kill. And then I'll do 2 where I'm fucking cooking. And then I might do a couple where I'm not trying to walk the room. There's a concept like the Overton window of acceptable public speech. Mm-hmm. And most of my existence is outside of it. So it's hard to intimidate like socialist or trans rights or like, just good nutritional ideas for a society that it's been taught to fear,
Yeah.
But there are some mics where I'll dedicate to like I'm going to break the likability meter and probably not going to get any laughs. Most people are going to look at me like they fucking hate me and want to kill me. There'll be a couple of people that are looking at me like, I can't believe somebody's saying this shit.
Yeah.
And that's really important. Being comfortable with uncomfortability. Yeah. And all that's fine. Like, it sucks. It's a bad, shitty feeling to walk off. Like, I just made a room of people fucking hate me.
Yeah.
Because I made fun of an American flag and I called it a symbol of fascism. Lost them immediately. But that was the goal, because whenever you get good enough that you can pull them, give them enough popular shit. You like me. Here's some shit you haven't considered, and it's counterintuitive to what you've been taught. Like, fuck the nuclear family. There is no God. Whatever.
Well, especially like the stuff that I've seen you do at alumni or Stellar or something that I've seen a couple times is like, I hate to use the word pride, but like to sound cliche, because we all, the pride, whatever it is, LGBT pride and all that stuff. But like, you can tell when you're talking about those topics, at least in my opinion, you're coming from a place of pride. You're not coming from a place of I'm the victim kind of thing. And a lot of your humor, a lot of times.
Yeah, I've had to kind of learn where I'm drawing the lines with a lot of things, because sometimes, for lack of a better word, I feel like I might be cooning a little bit with the trans shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, in comedy, it's so much easy to it's so easy to minstrel. It's so easy to pander to a conservative audience and shit. Like,
just jump on that imaginary soapbox.
Yeah, well, maybe this is a little too in depth.
Real soapbox if you're Kyle Fleming. I mean,
that guy fucking rules. Shout out.
I know.
Shout out to Kyle. Okay, here's an example of that. And this was on my podcast that I was doing this. I was doing a bit where I'm like, I'm Russian bride. What is big deal? I am your mellow Russian bride. I'm very feminine. What is the problem? And it was cracking up. It was killing and shit. And I don't know. I felt like I want to be a positive representation for trans visibility, and I want to advance. That sounds very grandiose and self-important and narcissist. Oh, you want to advance social rights causes? But yeah, I know we're doing jokes and sellers for drunks, and nothing we do ultimately matters. But everything is a unit of propaganda, and you might be able to inspire thought or further somebody's thought that somebody else inspired by further and inseminating your ideas. You're disseminating your ideas. Inseminating. By putting your sperm in a fucking cow and growing you or whatever. And that's hard to figure out. And then I was worried that am I a gimmick comic? Because I was struggling to write bits that didn't revolve around my transness and shit. And
you don't want to be like the Gallagher of transness, so you're using it like a gimmick.
Yeah, no. I want to be respected for the work I put in. But yeah, because I've done sets where I was like, I'm gonna do this whole set and I'm not gonna mention trans shit at all. But you can feel that the audience needs it to be addressed, and so much of comedy is pointing out the elephant in the room. Yeah, and it has to happen because we're it's not shadow psychology, but it's primal and animal. Yeah, I don't know. There's
subtle things
there's a vulnerability and an exposure on a psychological level.
But there's also, like you said, there's a fucking elephant in the room kind of thing. Like Ralphie May, I always tell people if you've never watched it, Ralphie May does a stand-up boot camp on YouTube. It's like a 2-hour thing where he's him and the Laugh Factory, and it's just him on a stool just discussing how comedy works. Just a boot camp of just telling new comics how the comedy business works.
Yeah.
And it's fucking so detailed. It talks about just psychology of on the stage, how to get booked. It's very insightful. I highly recommend it. But one of the things he says is even little subtle things like moving the fucking mic stand, having the stool, because if you have that mic stand next to you, it is subconscious that the audience is just waiting for you to use it because you've put it into play. You have it next to you on the stool, on the stage. Subconsciously, we think it's important. And so if you don't use it, it's kind of a subconscious letdown because you didn't use what we were expecting.
There's definitely a lot of mechanics like that.
Yeah, it's just hidden things like that.
That's what I didn't realize, because I went up there and I was like, I'm not doing trans shit at all. And I didn't address it, and I lost their interest pretty early on. And I was like, fuck, am I a dancing monkey up here? And then I was like, no, you just have to address it early on, and then you can move on and you can do the rest of your act. And because that's the one thing that was truly traumatizing, because I've had some gnarly bombs where this room fucking hates me. I've had bombs where I didn't do well,
Yeah.
But the worst was whenever they're not interested at all. Yeah. They're not even fucking look. They're
indifference. That's hard.
Yeah. That to me is the absolute worst. I guess because if you can't be funny, be interesting or whatever. And fuck. Ugh. I still shudder from that one.
The worst, I felt recently, I talked to Ethan about it yesterday on the show. I was in Wilburton, Oklahoma for this show last week or 2 weeks ago. And it's very small town Oklahoma. It's southern Oklahoma. It's so small town that we got pulled over on the way into town by the park rangers for going 5 over, apparently. And before we even get to the bar, the park rangers already notified the bar owner and the fucking people outside the bar. I just pulled over one of your comics coming into town. So the whole town already knew that we had been pulled over before we even got there. That's how small this fucking town was and tight knit. But like I have this bit, and like halfway through my set, where like I'm gonna do like a setup, and I go like, "Where are my feminists at?" I consider myself a feminist. Like any feminists in the crowd, and usually you can get one or two. Like somebody's gonna say, "Yeah, feminism."
Did they even know what the word meant?
Not a single fucking person said anything for feminism, and I was just like, "Whoa." Usually I can get one.
Our women are lucky they were even allowed out tonight,
Yeah.
sir.
And so, like, I kind of commented at the end of it because, like, my ending of my sets when I do real sets is like I close with a lot of, like, I talk about black jokes, black humor, about how I've dated a lot of black people. Like, I think you've heard some of my set, like, my black stuff, and like the first one didn't land. I was like, wow, this is going over just as much as that feminism bit, right? Like, there's not fucking because I always set it up. I'm like, where are my feminists at? And like, I let them cheer, and I go, what up, cunts? And it just shuts them down immediately.
Yeah, I struggle with some shit too because like I'm like I'm leftist Trojan horse with this shit, and that's the thing with like the PC cats that are like out ostracizing and like you can't be in our clique if you say faggot.
Yeah. It's been straight white women and stuff that have told me that I'm not allowed to say faggot on stage, which also like I hate to say it, like that's why like not that I've kind of like intentionally done it, but like I've kind of embraced more just like, you know, have my rainbow band and stuff like that, just like purple hair, just like kind of being who I want to be and just saying fuck it all. Like who I am, I'm bright, colorful, fuck you all, you guys, and like, but also it's almost like armor for me to where like I could say faggot on stage because I got rainbow shoes on, bitch. Like, you know, I swallow. Like,
well, there's like rights to reclamation slurs and everything, but there's also this other thing where whenever you get them in the hypnosis and the rhythm and you're making them laugh and you slip in a retard or a faggot or whatever the fuck, they'll laugh. But well, not if it works. That's the thing. It's like if this is like Evel Knievel shit, because I feel like we're both wrong and right in this. In that, if you can make it, you just jumped 400 buses and you're a hero, and everything was fine, and we'll coast over it. But if it wasn't received right, then you fucking crashed and burned, and it was a hard thing to look at, and you kind of suck now. Well,
it's just a general rule that like, if you're going to do a quote unquote taboo topic, you better stick to landing. Like, it's just gonna be if it's a more high risk thing.
That's why I feel we're like a different kind of one liner thing. Like, this is hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, to do it gracefully in a way that doesn't make you fucking hate me.
Jeselnik says it. Like, Jeselnik was on a pause. Anthony Jeselnik was on a podcast.
He's kind of both of that. He's kind of a one liner and a fucking really blue.
But he also like I found it very insightful. I think it was like I can't remember what show he was on, but he was like basically treat it like we're magicians, and the art of it is, did I get away with it? If I didn't get away with the joke, if I went so dark and it's like it caused me to get canceled and stuff, I didn't write that joke clever enough. I didn't stick the landing. Yeah. I didn't pull off the prestige and make that magic trick work.
Yeah.
And that's on me. Like, if I'm going to go to that fucking awful, horrible thing about like a rape joke or a dead baby joke or something like that, it better be so fucking hilarious and so fucking poignant
that it's redeeming of the quality of what you were using to get there. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I always think of it like, it's like, how do people like think Jay and Silent Bob was fucking like so like just like innocent and pure, yet he says the most filthy fucking most horrible fucking things ever.
Are you protesters?
You mean those dickheads with the signs and pictures of dead babies? Shit, no. Me and Silent Bob are pro-choice. Women's bodies are own fucking business.
But what are you doing hanging around?
Well, we're here to pick up chicks. We figure abortion clinics are a good place to meet loose women. Why else would they be here unless they like to fuck?
Who thought they were innocent and pure?
I don't know. He's always gotten kind of caught off with stuff. You know, Jay in the Jay and Silent Bob movies has always kind of gotten the girl.
He does get looked at as like a darling.
Yes, even though he says the fucking horrible shit.
Yeah.
But he's done it with like a wink and a nod where he's like, there's a touch of innocence to it because he's just dumb.
It's also kind of grandfathered in. Like those Clerks movies are getting kind of old up there.
Yeah.
We're due for more R-rated comedies, though. Like, I feel like we had, like, early Seth Rogen, and that was, like, fucking golden era.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what...
It's kind of gravitated. Like, it's hard to get those individual not tentpole Marvel movies or, like, something attached to a fucking already existing franchise greenlit. Like, it's hard to get, like, a fucking R-rated comedy greenlit these days. I mean, most of the time you're going to see it on TV or, like, Netflix or something like that. or it's going to be kind of just like a TV series that they can get away with. It's going to be R-rated.
That would be the dream. I wish I could fucking write a show that was like a ripoff of the Louis crashing formula, but just kind of autobiographical with a fucking trans bitch trying to make it and doing open mics and all the amazing characters she meets.
Yeah.
Not to have too much main character syndrome. I know that's really common in the scene.
It'd be like the Marvelous Miss Maisel, but she gets laid more.
I didn't see that one.
Oh.
Julie! Hi. Sorry to startle you. Was that a gun? Yes. But it's a comedy gun, right?
Yeah, a comedy gun.
Frank here is my sometimes comedy partner.
Like on the weekends.
The gun shoots flowers out of it.
It's a very funny gun.
I fucking wish, dude. I'm this close to becoming a magician just because there's probably more pussy in that.
Well, maybe after this episode comes out, it'll be after the Ethan episode. We can kind of see how like my life's been going, because on the episode yesterday, Ethan was very adamant about trying to take me to my first rave.
Okay.
Because he wanted me to get laid more. He's like, I'm trying to get you fucked. And I was like, okay, I think I'm doing okay. Like, I didn't think that was a priority right now, but thanks, bud.
I could use a wingman.
Ethan's your guy. Ethan came on here, was trying to be my wingman. I was like, I didn't even know I had a problem, bro.
I'm scared because I will take acid with him and not know where I am. But he's like, he seems like he's unflappable and like he has golden retriever energy, and I feel like I'm always kind of the opposite. Like I don't know. I'm always like holding back some dark clouds. I don't know. I only do well when I'm in silly mode. Like if I go up there and I'm trying to be Bill Hicks, they're like, get the fuck out of here, bitch.
Check out the brand new luxurious UnloadingMeat.com, your one-stop shop for all things meat. I don't know. Like I'm also kind of like, I mean, I'll just point out I'm an asshole. Like I am. Like, so like if there's a mic and it's like, we don't want these kind of jokes and we absolutely don't want any roast jokes. Well, I guess I'm roasting tonight. That's just in my nature. I have to do it.
You have to have a certain amount of fuck you to be a comic.
Yeah. Also, like, I kind of feel like it helps sometimes with my ingenuity. Like there was like Looney Bin has their rules where it's like PG-13, no bodily fluid jokes or anything like that.
That sucks.
And
there goes my act.
Yeah. But like I get it, because they're giving a live mic sometimes before their fucking regular paid show to a complete stranger. They don't know what you're gonna say. Their rules are their rules. I'm not fucking harping on them or anything like that. Yeah. What I will say is it's allowed me to sometimes be more creative because I've figured out ways to get around it. You know what I mean? Because it's like it's made my brain just kind of kick in overdrive. Like I have to get creative to still land that punchline if I can't say this word.
That's always the right way to look at it.
Just trying to find
Anytime there's an adversity in comedy, the answer is always work harder.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, go back to that Ralphie May thing. One of the things he says is like, there's so many comics start out like, I'm going to do it this way. And like, fuck the rules. And like, fuck the traditional way of doing comedy. I'm doing it this way. And I always tell people, like, you have to know the rules before you can fucking break them successfully. You have to know what the structure is. You know how to do a stand-up punchline, set up punchline, all that stuff. That way you can subvert expectations. Like, you have to learn the rules first.
Yeah, to that point. Like, I have a bit that's... it does well sometimes, and sometimes it gets groans, and I haven't figured out where, other than like the placement and the rhythm and the hypnosis of being later in my act. That's another thing too, because like you're gonna fail at this a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And failing when you're doing blue shit feels harder because you're not as much of a darling to them, you know.
Well, and also like
less.
I could tell with you too, specifically, like whenever I hear your jokes, like you're not writing to the two comics in the back. You're writing actual material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going just there for the fucking stand-up crowd, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. But it's brutal now, dude, because like I only see the same fucking comics. Yeah. And so now I feel like, I don't know, it's hard for me to like do bits for the 3 audience members. Like it's my first time saying it to them. Whenever there's 15 comics that have heard my shit, and I can't be prolific enough to write enough to have a new set every week, you know, and it'd be worth hearing. Like
my general rule for me personally, like again, nobody has like their set in stone way of writing, like, and no one way is better than anybody else's. Like everybody has their own individual style, you know, for what works for them for success. My personal way is like, if I go to an open mic, I do treat it like a gym where it's like I need to work out something because I have a show coming up or
Yeah.
something like that. I have this bit I want to work on. So like if it's 5 minutes, I'll take a 2 to 3 minute bit that I want to work on, and then the other 2 to 3 minutes I'm writing there live. I'm usually right there, just like, oh, what's that person looking like, and I'll make a little roast joke, something like that.
That's the best whenever you have an element of spontaneity.
Yeah.
Like that you can incorporate. Because like I've had shit where I'm like, I'm robotic. I'm just doing shit, you know?
Like if it's Seller, I always try to write a JB roast joke every week because in my point of view is like JB goes through like 30 people and he's trying to figure out stuff, or he's like not paying attention, trying to figure out music and all that stuff. Every once in a while, if he could hear like, and then give it up for JB, and then like here's an actual nice, actually written joke for him. It's like I took the time to actually write something because I think you're fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like I have respect for JB. Me and him are friends. So like I go out of my way to like say something nice or something funny to him.
He's kind of the responsible for having me in the scene because whenever I walked in off the street, I looked up online where the open mic was, and I wrote a set early in the day or midday, and then I drove out there. And I was early. I was like on the dot 7:30 or whatever. There wasn't any comics there. And I was scared. I was fucking terrified. Like I'd never gotten close to ever doing anything in the performing arts before.
Yeah.
And I was this fucking close to walking out. I was like, this is making me feel too anxious. This is extreme. I don't know if they're going to laugh at any of this shit. Like, and he was like, hey, what's up? This is your first time? I'll be all right. I'll put you in the middle of the list. Like, you'll be fine. Like, you're, you know, and like, he was very supportive and very dealt with how arrested I was in the situation. And if it wasn't for that, I would have drove away and I would have never found this scene. And I'm really fucking grateful and thankful for it. And I think I do get seen as an asshole to a lot of people that are, you know, whether I'm like too roasty or they don't know where I'm coming from.
Just take it as you're opinionated. But that's the way I take it. It's like, oh, I'm an asshole. It's because I have a fucking voice and I speak my opinion. Like it's kind of like okay, I'm loud. I have a voice. That's kind of the way I look at it when people say I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I kind of embraced it on myself. Like we all have to be a shade of an asshole to get on a mic and speak our truth to complete strangers. You know what I mean? Like for 5 minutes, this is what I think.
Yeah.
There's a little assholeness to that.
You have to be self-assured. And I've gotten cult. I feel it on an instinctual level. Like this is the same way whenever I was like ostracized from the church or like fucking name brand haircut cliques in high school where I wasn't cool enough or whatever. Like whenever I feel that in certain aspects of the comedy scene, I feel self-assured. I'm always open to criticism. And if anyone's ever willing to take me aside and be like, hey, I don't think you should say that, or I wish you wouldn't joke with me like that or whatever, I would be totally receptive to that and respectful. I don't ever want to hurt somebody's feelings or be, you know.
You're not punching down, but I mean, if you have an opinion, you speak your voice, you kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I try.
That's the tightrope we try to all walk.
Yeah.
At least for the most part, I think most of us try to not and like deliberately be so like punching down when we're trying to hurt somebody. I always think like we can tell intent. You can hear intent.
There
you can
go.
hear malice.
Yeah, because that's some of it. Because like I have a stupid bit where I'm like I'm uncircumcised. People say that looks like a hoodie, and I'm always hoping cops will confuse it for black people and beat it. and I want that to be punching up so bad because I think black people know that they're in the statistics of danger with police. It's better to. The butt of the joke is the police.
Yeah.
And that, you know, I hate that the most clever way that I could come up with that was an association with my dick. But that's also the kind of, like, it's, you know, it's comedy. It's all just.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like my Minnesota Police Department joke. I mean, it's. Like, it's kind of that same.
It's definitely of us in the same species.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
But you know,
they're both mammals.
Yeah.
Like,
but we both know, like, who the actual, like, punchline is directed at. You know what I mean? It's the police.
Yes. But if there were black people, they felt like it was less serviceable. Like that's how analytical I get about it. Because I am like one of those. I'm ultimately punch up PC. Even though I try. Even though I'll say like retard and faggot and shit. Like what I'm trying to do ingrediently is make the shitty power structures the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is the job of any. Of all the clowns or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't ever want to betray my better interests and I think a lot of PC cats interpret me as alt-right because of that. And it does help camouflage me with people that are more lawless in their comedy, you know, because that's what they want to throw at you. It's like, oh, you don't like my shit because I said a racist joke or I said a shitty, like I'll say a shitty joke too. I don't like your shit because you're a hack and you're putting in the work or you're, you know, like, or some shit like that, you know, or like, I don't know. I essentially I am kind of a comedian before I am like a trans person or a Native American or whatever. Like, well, I mean, that's because we're at a comedy place, and that's.
But at the same time, like I think that also gets into this fucking thing of people talking only in absolutes. It goes back to like that marginalization kind of thing of like, because you're getting your quote unquote moment in the spotlight or whatever, it's somehow diminishing mine. Like, you know, like there's only so much of the pie to go around, is what people think. Is like, if you get more, it means I have to have less.
Yeah, very scarcity mentality.
Yeah, and I think we apply that so much in our society to everything, especially in stuff like this where it doesn't really need to be.
Well, that was also
our trans rights going to make fucking cis male rights less. You get what I'm trying to say? Like that argument seems fucking insane to me.
Yeah, no. The rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah, but to my point too, to all the like petty conflicts and shit, I really love everybody.
Yeah,
I'm like it's hard for me not to like a comedian just because I think it's an extraordinary thing to do. I think it takes a lot of balls, and even if you're kind of fucked up or crazy or whatever, you know, like. I respect you according to the amount of work you put into it and shit, but yeah, I'm really thankful for this cult of fucked up people. Like,
yeah, I mean, because like this is the
most I alienate myself from them, and like,
even though I've had people try to cancel me or whatever we want to talk about and all this other shit, like it's the most times I've felt at home or found people of like minds.
Yeah,
like just of like similar, I don't know, life journeys, and just like, you know, it's always like. I say stand-up comedy is just navigating other people's mental health issues, trauma, bonding, and just like their fucking imposter syndromes. We're all navigating each other's imposter syndromes and stuff like that.
Yeah, gnarly imposter syndrome. Whenever I kill, it feels like I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But whenever I bomb, I deserve that.
Yeah.
I don't understand anybody who's doing this that didn't have a fucked up childhood. It's really perplexing anytime anybody's funny and they're not. They didn't.
You're funny and you didn't have trauma? What the fuck?
Yeah. Like I don't have
I'll fix that.
Oh my God. Dude, I have that in me. Sometimes people just come up all shiny souled and I'll be like, you're not privileged with suffering enough. Like, get the fuck away from me. The light in you dishonors the blight in me.
Well, that's kind of where I've come like, since I've been back and since I've been more like out and everything like that, it's been more of those things where like, if there's any kind of drama in the scene or anybody kind of just tries to come at me in any way, I just immediately block and move on. Yeah, I don't have time in my day for that. My time is my most precious thing. Like, and
exactly, I block no one and I'll fight forever.
I just don't have the time, and it doesn't fucking win. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like the fucking like playing Last of Us 2. It's like you can go down this fucking rabbit hole of revenge. What does it fucking get you at the end? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, totally.
I just move on and just like fucking try to be funnier and just be like, okay, well, they have no fucking standing on my life at all. I'm just gonna fucking block and cut off their access and just move on. And I just keep going and then just like, you know, laugh at them privately.
Yeah.
That's just kind of been my thing lately. It's just like, you know, trying to be, I don't want to say, I'm always gonna be the bigger person because, you know, obviously.
That applies to me too, but only in terms of my dick.
Fucking size queen.
I'm not shaming anybody.
Fucking size queen in the mirror.
It goes me, Kyle Fleming.
The dick to floor.
For me, for him, he's all dick.
Goes back to what you said about redheads.
Yeah, those are the worst. I swore off white women. I did.
I mean, my last relationship was a white woman, and then I guess I'm due back to go back to African American. I guess it's been time. I don't know. I've dated everybody. I don't really have a preference. I mean, just like whoever I hit it off with. I really don't have I guess a kink or like a thing for anything.
Yeah, I love that I've met and befriended and dated different races, because there's nothing like exposure to other people that just thoroughly dismantle all racist stereotypes.
Yeah.
Nobody has been remotely the same. Like they're, I'm really thankful because it's kind of homogeny. Like where it was like there was like white people and there's Native people, not a lot of others. A family of like Asian people and 2 families of black people. And it was a sundown town and it was pretty small.
Yeah. You talked about it on your podcast. I was listening to it yesterday. You talked about it on the episode with Owen.
Yeah, you are such a trooper for putting up with that audio. By the way, thank you so much. Like that is
I don't know what that. I recognize the clip from fucking True Detective.
All I know is Owen was like, "You put fucking a clip from the Breakfast Club in there." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm communicating my feelings." Fuck you, Owen. And then I was like, "He's totally right. I shouldn't put in 10-minute clips from fucking the Breakfast Club in my fucking podcast."
My favorite part, I was like, I heard. This is a quote from you. I have a lot of big feelings. And then Owen goes, yeah, I know. Chomps on a carrot. Just so deadpans it.
I think that's the tactile crunch that is a stim for him.
Like, I can hear how dirty that carrot was.
Yeah, no, they are too. It's like a burlap bag of carrots. And no, it's a brown paper bag, but it's still unsettling. No, I love Owen to death. He's unpredictable, and he has genius elements about him, and he's really earnest and he's sincere, and I think he's a great cat. I think he's really off the rails, and I think and I worry about him sometimes, but in the same way, I'm very much there too. Like it makes.
I think that's also kind of the thing is like us comedians also kind of bond over. We all recognize each other's little bit of darkness inside of us. Like we could see it. You know what I mean? It's like it's just something like, and again, it goes back to trauma and stuff like that in life. But like, just like talking to somebody for 5 minutes in the comedy scene, you can tell something's happened, or you just get that sense. You know what I mean? There's something relatable to it that's unspoken.
There's got to be a trauma bond that's like on kin with like war vets or something, because I'm bombing with these people, I'm killing with these people, and I'm sharing the highs, and I'm like sharing the lows, and they're extreme. They're very big feelings, and I can't. It probably feels like, oh shit, we're under enemy fire. Here's adrenaline. Here's, oh, we're safe now. Let's eat the fucking MRI. I'll steal all the valor. Fuck it. I'm not uncomfortable with this allegory at all. Yes, all comedians are Marines and we're soldiers. But yeah, no, I feel like I can be a level of honest with people, or certain comedians, and so there's like a hack depth to friendship where I feel like I'd known him for years or something, and like I would go to bat for this cat.
Yeah,
and, like I got their back no matter what. I might talk shit endlessly to their face. Yeah, but yeah, no.
That's kind of
I'm a big softy and a big mom about people's feelings under everything.
That's kind of how I am. Like that's why I love this. Mm-hmm. Like. There's only so much like information and like I don't want to say quote unquote bonding like I feel like I could do with somebody outside of the club for 5 minutes or so after a mic or during a mic, because even during then usually alcohol or weed's involved.
Yeah,
we're not really coherent and we're always trying to like work on our sets, and we're not really paying attention to like making a new BFF. So it's like having this to sit down for an hour plus whatever just to chat with a comic that's away from a club and just being like, how are you? Who are you? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's nice.
And we're making a product here, but this is also pure socialization.
Yeah.
Like it's scratching that itch, and like we're getting to know each other, and it's like it's the best. I fucking love podcasts.
Same here. And I also feel like not that it's a 1-for-1. I've talked on here a lot. I don't think it's a 1-for-1 equal as like, getting actual mic time or stage time, but like this helps tremendously.
Oh, for sure. Like we're you're cooking, you're being creative. A lot of my best bits came from previous podcasts that I've done. I also have my show Live and Let Viv, and I'm
Love
trying
the name.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying to launch the next season and like interview all the comics whenever I fucking get a better setup and equipment. It's still guerrilla style, like I'll just catch him where I catch him.
Well, if you ever need any advice, help, or anything, or if you ever want as a guest, I'd be honored.
I absolutely, yes.
Because I always want to be that. not only like just like, you know, I'm a fucking content whore. I'll be on anybody's podcast, but like also like advice and stuff like that. I don't want to ever be like a gatekeeper. I want to be like somebody to help somebody else rise up. And like if anybody needs an advice or anything like that, I welcome it.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I want everybody to kill and do best and like love and support each other. I want them to be a bit honest and not so uncomfortable with conflict.
Yeah.
Because like everybody that I've had a riff with, they've walked it off, and I have too, and like I feel kind of stronger in that friendship, you know? Like you got to be able to disagree with people or tell them how you think, you know? Like there's a responsibility not to fucking purposely hurt them or whatever. Unless it's really funny and it's a good joke. I don't know. I'm still figuring shit out. We'll get there.
It's always a work in progress.
Yeah. Well, that's to that other point is like life has been really hard for me in a lot of areas. And it's easy to justify your shitty actions. But sometimes this is a playground or a schoolyard or like a prison, and there's animal psychology and people are happy to other you. Yeah. And I've kind of had to become a hard bitch just to survive. And I've had to sacrifice probably sensitivities and depths of tender parts of myself to a callousness that was necessary. And I don't ever want to step on anybody who's sensitive and has better, like, because I know what it's like to be that person and feel the pee under layers of mattresses, you know, to be that sensitive and internalize any little insult and shit. And I don't ever want to be that person that is in somebody's head when they're trying to go to sleep that makes them feel shitty about themselves.
But you also want to be authentically you. You also want to speak your voice and just like unabashedly just like, this is my opinion. Fuck you. This is it. You know what I mean? Like that's part of the thing.
Yeah. And also sometimes I might want to do that. Sometimes you might need that. Like, you know, like there's times where I've been an asshole or I've been in the wrong and somebody would just tell me how the fuck it was. And I needed to reflect on that. But I guess I don't.
But also, we're saying it with a caveat. We're also doing it with a caveat of talking about in the realm of podcasting and comedy of stand-up. We're like, at the end of the day, I bet I can make it funny. You know what I mean? That's the trick. It's like, I'm going to have the mic up there. I'm going to at least try to, I might say something fucking like horrific, but I'm going to at least attempt to make it funny. It's entertaining, right?
If I know that you care about me or that I can even assume that you're joking, and say like my grandma died or something. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I heard it was a vaginal tear from too much dick, right?
Yeah.
Or something, you know what I mean?
How'd you know?
Because it was me, because I was there.
Oh.
Because I killed her with his dick. But but you know what I mean? Like if I'm so locked into my sad shit and then you can say some fucking, even at my expense, or, you know, like, I don't know. And I can assume that you don't fucking hate me. You're not trying to stab me. Like, it's a joke. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I don't think that's res shit. I don't think that's poor people shit. I think that's a human way to deal with darkness and suffering. And for people that have had extra helping hands of it, we might be more endowed to use this kind of language and concept. And the people that are chewed out by our harm, they can probably, I don't know, I'm not saying they can walk it off, but most people are more well-adjusted to not have to be a comedian.
Well, it's like also like,
I'm unloading the meat.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by your favorite box delivery food service like HelloFresh or ButcherBox, but it could be. And honestly, it probably should be. Have you seen this guy? I'm a full-time fat ass. And honestly, if I had one of those subscriptions, I probably would lose quite a bit of weight because I've looked at the food and it looks pretty damn delicious. I mean, all food looks delicious to me. That's kind of the problem. But if you want to stop these fake ads, make sure to reach out to your favorite company like HelloFresh and tell them to sponsor Unloading Meat. Now, back to the show.
I'm unloading the meat.
There's a saying that it only takes 7 years for a Democrat to become a Republican if they don't update their ideas and opinions, because progressivism is it's a treadmill, because we're always progressing, and if you're not progressing, then where you are at and like your view of shit is going to be outdated, and you have to constantly update and be current with the times, and that takes a lot of work.
Well, and also I feel like there's just like this mentality a lot of times where people like kind of started to feel like if you're the Democrats, they're so quote unquote they're so adamant about categorizing and almost splitting people up instead of like a united front.
Yeah. Do you remember Hamilton?
Yeah. The musical or the actual man? I'm not that old.
I guess they.
I remember when he was black.
He says in parentheses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Hamilton was like a rapping play with an all-black cast in the roles of the founding fathers, and it was like touted as something that was progressive, but it wasn't, because you were just casting black people in the roles of slave owners and then ignoring the concept of black people during that time. And that to me is like the perfect encapsulation of neoliberalism, because we could elect a black trans president hypothetically, but as long as they have capitalist interests and they don't give a shit about the bottom class and all they're serving like corporate investments, you're always going to be offered a false dichotomy. And I don't mean to be all.
Well, is it progress or is it fucking tokenism?
Well, that was something Malcolm X would always talk about. Like the liberals will use you to get the vote and then not follow through with any of their campaign promises that they said that they were going to do to, fight gentrification or do any kind of anything for any of their minority poor representation. And yeah, I don't know. The way I look at it, there's a spectrum of like full-blown fascism to republicanism, capitalism, and like liberalism. And if you go fucking far enough, there's like leftism, which is like, it's not left and right. It's not liberal and Republican. It's up and down. It's the poor people and the rich people. It's the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. And more importantly, what like Chomsky called the precariat, which is the precarious protariat, which is your most vulnerable worker, the person that is making the most minimum wage, and if they don't get this check, they're going to be fucking kicked out because they're not going to make rent, and they're struggling to pay for their medications and fucking food and housing. And policing words doesn't do anything to serve me as much as just redistributing wealth. And I had like a UBI or guaranteed housing and medicine. A place that I could go so like somebody doesn't say I'm going to kill that tranny on the street or whatever. Like my risk to homelessness is what makes me vulnerable as a minority. Capitalism is what makes me vulnerable as a minority. Hearing faggot on somebody's act or in a show or whatever, it might hurt my feelings, but it doesn't put me materially at risk. And Democrats are offering no real solution to that. Yeah, I think of capitalism as like a process of extraction. It's like a game of hungry hippos on a tilted board, and they're serving the interest so they can get their pieces of those.
Well, and like, I think I talked about it on the podcast earlier, like before on some episodes, where like I kind of feel like there's also this wave of like people, not necessarily my generation, but maybe the younger generation, where they're like, it kind of dawned on them. Because like, go back to Bill Maher. Bill Maher had this rant last week where he was like talking about how like Trump's all trying to bring all the factory jobs back to the U.S. and stuff, but Bill Maher ranted like, who the fuck's going to work in a factory because millennials don't want to work. And his whole thing was like, nobody wants to work for these fucking 9 to 5 or these factory jobs because millennials are lazy. It was his kind of rant kind of thing.
Yeah, well,
and it's like, well, yeah, we don't want to work in those jobs, but I also think there's the kind of thing of like a certain generation of people are like, we can just outlive these old fuckers. If we're not getting a voice in our politics, or if it's all just like rich old white people that are fucking going for a while, like, yeah, we'll try to do as much as we can to push back as much as we can. But
they're not being paid, Like if you go into a Walmart, you'll find like an old guy with like work ethic, and he'll be like, yeah, let me check that out for you. If you go to a 20-year-old, they're like, fuck you, go look for your iPhone cover yourself, you cunt. And they should be, because they're barely fucking making rent.
But that's what I think. It's like they can have this not honestly lackadaisical, but they have this just kind of this air of just like,
yeah,
well, eventually these old fuckers will be dead.
I'll be fucking environment. The dollar's about to collapse.
Yeah.
Like, what the? and all I have is wage slavery.
Yeah.
I like literally like.
Well, it's like during the day, like what I do for like my side hustles. I Grubhub. I pay the bills through that, and it's a great gig in like a small town like Bartlesville because everybody uses DoorDash. So like I basically get paid all day, every day to be on call to take like 1 or 2 orders.
I got to get a gig together. Really
it works fucking great. But it teaches you, like, you see all kinds of humanity going through all these different drive-thrus and fucking places. And like, especially since post like COVID, you go to a Taco Bell, McDonald's, there's no more front counter employees.
Yeah.
Like everybody's in the back cooking and stuff, and they might occasionally come up and greet you or give an order, but everything's to go, and like
it's all automation now.
it's all automation. And if they have to come out of their way to talk to somebody up front, like if there's an older customer that wants to take an order up front, it is pulling teeth, and those fucking tweens are scared shitless of actually having to confront a person and actually talk to them like face to face. Like it is like I see like an entire generation of people working in the fast food industry that have zero way of actually like communicating face to face with somebody because they are just hiding in the kitchen. They are just scared shitless of actually face to face confrontation.
Yeah.
And like I think it's like we're kind of breeding that more and more. Like it's like you see it. Like it's so.
Are you a singularity cat? Are you onto any of that kind of shit?
I don't know. More elaborate more.
I might send you some stuff.
Okay.
There was this cat. There's a few people. There's like
1 hour later.
there's this there's a few big quabbles with it. It sounds really fantastic. It's a lot to break down. It's kind of like it's hard to condense.
2 hours later.
Oh no.
It's the technological singularity is this idea that we're gonna out-evolve the limitations of our biology with like the supercomputers and gene editing software, and we might be able to program our biology from aging and live indefinitely and edit our genome on the fly. You know, you look 22, you can make your hair color whatever the fuck you want.
Allow me to introduce my mother-in-law, Clara, my wife, Michelle, and my daughter, Sylvia.
And the next step after that, you know, is it's like all of the variations of the genome in the animal kingdom is what's happened by happenstance of evolution, just blindly, you know, go outside of like a little bit of artificial selection on human part or whatever. But whenever you could actually just sequence genes, like they did an experiment like probably almost 30 years ago now, or 20 years ago, maybe 15, where they spliced the genes from a jellyfish into a cat, a common house cat.
Yeah.
And it was UV blacklight responsive, like it glowed in the dark. And they were like they were designer gene cats.
Yeah.
You know, they were never made commercial. It was just an experiment.
Well, it's like the most recent, like the woolly mammoth, like rats or whatever they had. I don't know if you saw that. Like they brought back the woolly mammoth genes and they like spliced it with rats or whatever, or mice, and they have like these furry woolly mammoth style like mice that they're like touting right now.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
So like you can imagine like humans augmenting themselves with like commercial gene editing technology from everything that was available into the animal kingdom, and who's to stop somebody from having bat wings if they might?
So like Cyberpunk 2077, but even more fucking.
Yeah. But even more than that, like those are all just the genes that have been expressed by blind nature and like nobody at the will of evolution, and just like finding ways to grow and develop. Like they're like theoretically like infinite like gene combinations that can make all kinds of like physicalities and physiologies, and like the amount of biodiversity in nature, from like wings and stingers and bioluminescence and bioelectricity, and like it's crazy how life is adaptive. And if you had an AI that could like, you know, there might be new fantastic unthought of abilities that we can reach through biohacking or technological ability that might completely. So whenever it's to the point, whenever you see a student that's working at a McDonald's and they have no social skills because they've only been raised on TikTok screens.
Yeah.
I think that shit might be valid, and we're getting close to the cocoon of that part of the evolution, and like it feels uncomfortable because we're changing and we're like the last iterations of being apes.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know. Big ideas. Something to think about.
Everything's that movie Idiocracy. Like it's just like we're.
Oh my God! When Elon had that chainsaw.
Yes.
That's exactly the guy with the gun. I saw the meme. I thought of it before I saw the fucking meme. But yeah, it's. And he was like using his baby as a human shield.
I always like this. I have this new joke where I talk about like Elon hates the LGBT community because he like wanted to use those letters for the name of his kids.
I have a bit where we have so many letters in the alphabet mafia because it's a psyop. We're trying to teach people how to read again. Yeah, it's an inside job.
I talk about like how like, you know, like LGBT. I put the B in BLT. Like, you know, I get LGBT and BLTs confused all the times. And then I'm like, during Pride Month, you know what? Somebody at Arby's is gonna be like, how can we make fucking the BLT gayer? What can we fucking like, throw some G's in there? I don't know. What would be a G in the fucking BLT? Grapes? Yeah, that's fucking gay.
That's gangster. That's what would be in there.
I'm just thinking like somebody in an Arby's test kitchen is like, how can we gay up a BLT and like throw a G in there? And it's like, grapes? No. I don't know. What's another G letter? What's another G like fruit or like green beans? No, we're not throwing green beans in a fucking BLT. That gets only attention up. You know what's gonna happen in Pride? There's gonna be some kind of fucking sandwich that comes out eventually.
I still haven't been to Pride yet.
I haven't been to Tulsa Pride. I kind of like. It's hard to find a Bartlesville Pride. They have it, but like Bartlesville is famous. I don't know if you know this.
It was creepy coming in here.
We are on. Do you have Max? Like HBO Max?
No.
There's a show on there.
I have a pirate thing where I just watch everything from.
There's a show on there called We're Here, and it premiered last year. It's a pro drag show. It's like a reality show where like just drag queens come to like fucking towns and they kind of just throw like show like pro drag positivity kind of stuff. And it's just like a reality show that just follows, camera crew follows them, you know, going to these like southern towns and shit like that.
It's so weird that they get so much heat.
Yeah, but there's 3 fucking episodes about Bartlesville and Tulsa, and about how they, as soon as they hit the Bartlesville city limits, drag's not allowed. And like they've had several shows that are canceled here, and like LGBT stuff that's canceled here and stuff like that. And it's like just because of the city limits, like it's like they made 3 episodes on Max about how fucking anti-LGBT Bartlesville is.
That's so funny, dude. Because coming in here, it was a really beautiful drive coming in here, but it also had like an eeriness, like Tales from the Dark Side. I don't know if you remember that old show. It had that. It was like pictures of the countryside. They were beautiful, but it had that creepy ass music over it, and it made it eerie. Because like the daylight in Greenfield should always feel positive, and like uplifting. It didn't. It felt like something was happening.
Well, it's like
it had an ominous.
You can just tell how it's gonna be by the amount of Trump signs that are up in the neighborhoods. Like
I had to stop at a gas station, and I wasn't even sure if it was open. And the dude in there was like, I could tell right off the bat. And then I had to stop at another gas station when I got closer to your crib, and they were looking at me like I was a fucking alien. I'm like, oh, okay, I haven't felt this level of transphobia in a minute. Like,
I almost feel like the Trump flags and the Trump signs are almost reassuring, because like, I don't know, like you see all kinds too. You see like Trump 2024, 25, 26. Like they're just like trying to figure out how to count. Or like what year he's going to be indicted.
You're gonna be seeing 28 a lot more, because I bet that dictator is going to be hard to push out.
And welcome back to the depression of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're listening and you're like vulnerable to marginalized fascist shit, get the fuck out or start partying. Like now is the time to be nihilistic. No.
Yeah, this episode just has a drinking game going with it. Like every time that we say something that's depressing or fucking
damn it,
fascist or something like that, just take a shot.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep upbeat about this kind of shit.
I know,
because I don't want to hear it either. So why am I fucking saying it?
But again, like it goes back to us with a mic. It's like we're trying to make it entertaining, or at least, you know, it's cathartic, but also we try to make that catharsis entertaining.
Yeah.
Because in the hopes that if we are entertaining by, you know, doing that catharsis, it's somehow relatable.
Yeah, or lift you out of the dark.
Yeah.
Like if you can laugh at it, you can beat it.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Or you're gonna beat off to it later. I mean.
Yeah, that too. I subscribe to my OnlyFans, my OnlyTrans.
For me, it's only flan. It's just food porn. Just Mexican desserts.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to pay some bills. That was definitely a knock.
Yeah, she really wants in.
That is so weird.
That's Nyla. So like,
that's a smart dog.
That's Nyla Rose. I named her after like one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, who's also famously one of the first trans wrestlers in wrestling that actually has like her own trans action figures in Walmart and everything.
No fucking way.
Yeah, you can see her with that red scarf right there in the middle of that cube. Right there. Yeah, that's Nyla Rose. Oh. She's a trans wrestler, and she was one of the first women's champions at AEW, and also and she's hilarious. Like one of the quickest witted people you'll ever hear on fucking internet. Like fucking hilarious, because she deals with fucking transphobes nonstop.
Yeah.
And it also turned into this thing where like,
That sounds so human.
she stuck her out now. She just passed out on the tile.
I was like, if that knock was from the dog, like it can own a phone because that was so human.
I'm happy though. Like, that's a good neighbor. That was my neighbor across the street. He saw her and like was running down the street and picked her up.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I have some good neighbors. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you'll see occasionally the Trump flags and stuff, but they also like, you have like the local meth dealer that's over here, and it's like, okay, I at least know that they're gonna keep the police away for a while. They know what they're doing. It's on the down low. They run a nice operation.
Yeah, there's a lot of sweet people that get suckered to that Trump shit, and I don't know. It's really unfortunate. Like being in a city, you know, where you're exposed to other cultures all the time. It's hard to be like, oh, they're terrorists.
Well, and also as like, I don't know, maybe as like I have like a unique perspective too, because like half the guys that are quote unquote conservative or like that fucking Republican male, I see half of them on Grindr late at night. Secretly just trying to get their dick sucked or something because they're in a fucking marriage that has no love.
Oh my God. It's not, you're right to be divorced. It's just not natural, you know? Like, I'm not saying relationships aren't natural. I'm saying under the modern capitalist conditions, you know?
I tried to be that nuclear family. Like,
I don't think it's...
I talked to Ethan about it yesterday. Like, I was that guy that was like, I worked 15 years in cell phones and was like in T-Mobile. Like, I was the district manager for T-Mobile here in this area. And like, I was Mr. Magenta. I painted my hair pink. I had pink kicks. I was that brand. Floored that store, built that store in Bartlesville, and kind of brought it to this town. And then right when COVID started, I lost my job and lost my whole identity. And then like during COVID, my second marriage fell apart because I was like kind of just like, I had no identity. I didn't know who the fuck I was. And it also kind of broke me because like I worked for that corporation for so long and gave so much of my life to it. And then I had nothing to show for it. And I don't know, just everything kind of fell apart at once to where I was like, I got to figure out who I am, but also I couldn't work for another corporation again without wanting to build my own thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then also just like, I don't know. Yeah, the divorce sucked and stuff, but also it kind of just allowed me to, I didn't deal with a lot of shit. My wives didn't even know I was sexually assaulted as a kid. My wives didn't know that I was fucking, on the fucking, a member of the fucking pride, or you want to call it, I wasn't out with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very closeted in my marriages and stuff like that. But like, I tried to do like, the white picket fence of the, the house and the kids and stuff like that. And it kind of broke me.
Yeah.
You start to feel like you walk into a room and immediately you're just a failure. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to be good enough for a certain type of role or like whatever that fucking quintessential like fucking role is. And then you just kind of stop trying one day of like trying to fit that role. I don't know. That's me personally.
Yeah, I need to establish an allegory to say this. In the like 1970s and through the 80s, like almost all the experiments that the government used as an advice or as an advisory for their legislation in terms of drug laws, they they would test cocaine in like on a rat that was like in basically a tank, and it would get addicted to the cocaine, right? Scientists realized that they weren't they were doing a flawed experiment. Like if you had a rat in an enclosure that simulated its environment, most of the drugs that they would introduce to them, they would do them, but they wouldn't get addicted to them. Whenever they had like little friends in like an actual environment in Rat City, all of these drugs turned out to just not have the same kind of like, oh, you're gonna lose your life and get addicted and like everything.
There was no stakes.
Yeah. Whenever, as opposed to like in the 70s, whenever they had them just like in a fucking terrarium that's clear, and then like every 30 minutes, some giant comes and picks you up and feeds you cocaine. Like, of course you're gonna be addicted to whatever like dopamine source that you can get in an environment that isn't built to serve your true nature.
Yeah.
And that as an allegory for modern coupling under capitalism, where you gotta have this job, and then I gotta have this job, and you gotta do the dishes, and I gotta do this, and then we gotta fuck missionary every night, and like you don't ever get to find anybody else attractive, and we gotta see each other every fucking day, and like I just don't think it's, I under those conditions. I'm not saying monogamy.
Yeah.
I think the diversity of how people approach relationships is all valid from poly to,
it's an individual basis.
Demisexual.
Like
yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
different. Everybody's going to have a different threshold, different things. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's finding that person you're compatible with.
But all this extra pressure of
Yeah.
just like meeting the mask that you have to for society to to interact with it, and like just keeping the fucking bills paid, and like it's a lot of extra pressure that human beings didn't live with for the 200,000 years of their development, and that on a relationship is a lot, I feel. And I don't know.
Yeah, it happens. I mean,
and just I see other people in their relationships and how dead their fucking lives are, and it's a long marriage is a hard fucking thing. Being lonely and single and full of like memories of like, you failed me because of this sucks, but like, holy shit,
come here, girl.
It gets so toxic and abusive. Yeah, she's gorgeous.
I love her. Like, she's been great for me. She's great with the kids and stuff like that. Like, she just wants to be loved. About once an hour, she'll come by and just wants to jump in your lap and just be held. She just has to be hugged.
You can, dogs have such bright souls. Like, you can see it in the eyes. Like, Jesus.
And also, like, she can tell. Like, there's been times, like Ethan yesterday, we got to like talking about some dark stuff, and as soon as we started talking about like dark stuff, and the tone shifted, she came up and put her like, got up in his lap. Like, are you okay? Let's check everything out. She's a
I
good dog.
didn't know Barton had dark mode. That's cool.
Yeah, we got. Like, I like that.
Of course he does.
about
He's a
this.
comedian.
There's something about this that it kind of just lowers down. I don't know, like it lowers. What do you call it? The defenses. And I don't know. I just like to have a really good, genuine conversation.
Yeah, and it still feels. Yeah, it feels the fulfillment of like I've communed with the brother.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about podcasting is like eventually it'll find an audience. Hopefully, if not, fuck you guys. I mean, this is still who I am. You know what I mean? I'm putting out my product, the way I want it, and
through it all, I did it my way.
There you go. That's yeah.
That's
No
why
copyright strike us.
You gotta fucking Sinatra this shit.
Yeah.
In all walks of life.
Yeah. Well, on that note, like Viv, thank you so much for being here. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. Check out my podcast, Live and Let Viv, and my other podcast, Owen and Viv Fistfight Your Dad.
Nice. It's a great podcast. I love the one with Owen. I'm still listening to it now.
We're getting better audio. We're working on shit.
Well, it's like I told you yesterday. We're always a work in progress, but the important thing is you put it out.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's so many things that, like, even me personally, that like, I'll get around to putting that out because I'm not there yet, or this is not perfect, so I gotta put this out, and like, it never sees the light of day because I put it on a shelf.
Yeah, analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta shit your pants and jump in the pool.
There you go. Well, and also, where can everybody follow you if they want to find you, like, on social media and stuff?
I have a Facebook, Viv Harper. If you want to message me on that and hit on me, do that. I'm single. Or if you want to book me for a comedy show or whatever, please. I'm very funny. I'm great. I won't walk the room, and I won't say anything about socialism or disrespect America.
Unless you pay her to.
Yeah.
No, I'll vouch for you too and say, like, honestly, you have been hilarious every time I've seen you. I do consider you a peer.
Absolutely.
Truthfully.
Yeah, no.
And I'm grateful that you came all the way here and had a delightful conversation with me.
You're running real shit, dude. You put in the effort, and I've talked to other comedians that are like, they want to do this, and and you're so warm and welcoming. And
well, I try.
awesome.
I mean, real recognizes real, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like, again, I go by effort. So like, I am grateful for always the people that come up here and spend time to chat with me, and I'm just grateful to know you. So
yeah, dude. Even outside of this, if you ever just want to hang and get a burrito or something,
I'm game.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Oh yeah, dude. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here, guys. This has been Unloading Meat. I'm Jared Ralphie Allen. This is Viv Harper. Peace.
Like, just roast me. Like, whatever you got. I don't care. Fucking Owen said I look like buff Janine Garofalo. Fuck you, Owen.
I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is.
Bye, have a great time.